Okay, our last topic. This is a theory that's very well supported, and I'm going to explain it to you briefly. You may have heard of it before. It's called endosymbiont theory. Sometimes it's called endosymbiont hypothesis. Sometimes it's just called endosymbiosis. It is a pretty well supported belief that prokaryotes first formed, going back a little bit, prokaryotes first formed about 3.6 billion years ago, and then they diversified into different types. And we think that the first eukaryotes that formed 2.5 billion years ago, the way that they formed was that some kind of larger prokaryote engulfed or took in some smaller prokaryotes, but it didn't destroy them. And over time, they started depending on each other. Maybe initially the smaller ones were dependent on the larger one, but ultimately over time, both of them depended on each other. And there's a lot of evidence for this, that what we now see as mitochondria in our eukaryotic cells were originally, way back 2.5 billion years ago, separate aerobic bacteria or prokaryotes that were then taken into another cell and then evolved into what we now call mitochondria. Same thing for chloroplast. Maybe a photosynthetic bacterium was taken into one of these larger cells. And so there's a lot of evidence for this. So the one of them is that your mitochondria right now have inside of them ribosomes. I'm not talking about the ribosomes that are in the rest of your cell. I mean, specifically within your mitochondria, there are ribosomes. And those ribosomes are bacterial type ribosomes, not eukaryotic type ribosomes. And your mitochondria have circular DNA inside of them. And that DNA has the genes that are needed for cellular respiration. But there's really no good explanation as to why an organelle would have a chromosome other than the fact that it is distantly related to a bacterial cell. And the same thing with chloroplasts in plants. Chloroplasts have bacterial ribosomes and circular bacterial chromosomes inside of them. So this is called endosymbiont theory or endosymbiont hypothesis, and it's very well supported. And that's my like 60-second explanation of something that's been studied quite a bit. Now, the last slide is just a comparison, and I want to really draw your attention mainly to the bacteria. We did contrast a little bit with the archaeans and the eukaryotes. We focused a lot on cell wall, flagella, and other structures outside of the cell membrane. But keep your focus mainly on the bacteria, and you'll be in good shape.